This is a blanket that needs a block to look good. I think I have like 7 projects left I want to do and only 2 weeks left to do them. I don't know if I've gone a full week without knitting on one of these since I got the pattern. I think it totally changed my mind about this because I did those modifications and the sleeve has more stitches and the body less, that they actually match up really well when it comes to how oversized they are. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Oline and I'm a knitter from Norway, and welcome to my knitting podcast. Here I talk about all things knitting, current projects, finished projects, planned projects, all of my yarn, just anything that pops into my head while we sit here and chat. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me this week. I haven't been able to knit that much this week. I have been, for most of the last week, been home alone with my son and 2 dogs and a cat, and we've also had really great weather, so I have just wanted to spend a lot of time outside, so that has resulted in a bit less knitting, but I still have quite a few things to show. And also with spring and better weather coming, my creativity is really waking to life, and I have so many plans and so many things I want to cast on, and I just want to get to everything all at once. It's almost too much creative energy at this point, and I have made a video all about my spring knitting plans if you're interested in that. But since I did that and started kind of thinking about everything, I've thought about even more. So I do have some plans I want to share with you this week as well. But before we get into everything this week, I wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm wearing. And today I have actually stolen my husband's sweater. I have more than enough sweaters myself, really, but I really enjoy this sweater. I think it's one of my favorites I've made him. It's really hard to pick up a favorite because I really love everything I knit for my husband, but this one in particular I really enjoy. This is the zipper sweater by Petiteknit. This is the regular one. He has both the regular one and the thin one, but this is the regular one, and I love this. This was actually the very first zipper sweater I ever made, and I was so nervous going into knitting this one, but ever since I knit this one, I've been obsessed. I knit multiple zipper sweaters each year since making this, and I just love it. And also it's held up really well. This is knit in Drops Nepal in a color, I think this is maybe the color Mist or Sky or something. In Norwegian it's Tåke, so not quite sure how that translates, but I knit this for Christmas of 2022, I think, and it's held up really well. It has peeled a little bit, but surprisingly little, because I know, for example, my sister, who I also knit this sweater for in the same yarn but in a different color, she has also used hers a lot, but hers has peeled so much more. But I also know that pilling depends on the person and your body temperature and how your limbs rub together, I guess. So at least for my husband, this has held up really well, and I have actually never stolen it before this week, because I do have a zipper sweater of my own as well, just in a different yarn. But this week I just really wanted this, so I stole it, and it's amazing. It's way better than my zipper sweater, and I have actually gotten yarn for a zipper sweater just like this for myself, because my current zipper sweater is in 2 strands of Flora and 1 strand of kid silk, and the drape and everything of it isn't just right. I still use it, I still enjoy it, but it isn't this, and I really want a sweater that's like this, and I'm so happy I've gotten yarn for that now, because this sweater is amazing. I do have to fix it though, because this has been used loads, so I just a couple of months ago fixed the zipper on this side because it was coming undone, and now it's coming undone on this side. which is of course a bummer. I am not the biggest fan of all of these things when it comes to knitting, but for the zipper sweater it's worth it. And honestly, if you want to make the zipper sweater but the zipper is putting you off, it's not as bad as it seems. Kimi Moncombe has a really great tutorial, and if you just do it, it's not that bad. It's not as fun as knitting, but it definitely isn't that bad. This has a few mistakes because it was my first time doing a zipper, so it's loose. I can put my finger in here with the zipper, but it works. It has held up with tons of use and for quite some time. With just small fixes here and there. So I need to do that, but yeah, that is the zipper sweater man. This is knit in size medium and it's just amazing. I highly recommend knitting a zipper sweater. I love them so much. All of the versions I've made, my zipper sweater, the zipper sweater man, zipper sweater light man, zipper sweater light, zipper sweater light junior, zipper sweater junior, all of them, highly recommend. They're really fun. And then also on this one I did make one modification without meaning to, and that is when I cast on for the neck. I think this whole sweater is knit on 5mm needles, and I'm used to, when knitting sweaters, going down half a needle size when doing ribbing. So this is knit on 4.5mm needles instead of 4mm needles with the pattern, which the pattern calls for. But I'm really happy with that change actually, because that means that this really isn't too tight. I haven't had a big issue with the neck being too tight in any of my other zipper sweaters that I've done the right way, but this definitely has a lot more space and is a bit more comfortable. So I'm going to repeat this mistake or modification the next time I make a zipper sweater, because I do quite enjoy both the fabric it gives with it not being too dense and also the extra space. But that's enough of me babbling on about this sweater, and we can head into what I've done this week. And I think this week will start with my finished projects because I have fewer of those. And first off, we have this blanket. I wish I was able to show it to you all blocked, but hopefully I'll be able to show you next week because it's a huge transformation once you block this. But this is the mini Augustins #1 by Augustins.dk that I've been working on. You start here in the middle and then you knit out and increase, and there are different charts and different lace patterns. There are some twisted ribbing, and then when you're done with all of that, you do this border at the end where you knit and cast off every single stitch through this border, which takes forever and is definitely the most boring part of this blanket, but still very doable because it's at the end and you see progress and it gets easier to knit, so I don't find it that bad. But I love this blanket, and the biggest reason why I love it is because there is so much different there's so many different things happening from you cast on. In the start it goes very quickly. There is some moss stitch, you do lots of increases, then you do twisted rib, then you do lace, then you do a chart of lace, increase, another chart. There's just, every time you're kind of getting tired of something, you're doing something new. It's a very well written pattern as well. I remember the first time I was going to knit this, I was super worried because it can look a bit complicated like this, but it's very well written. You know exactly what to do and when to do it. And yeah, you just progress really quickly in the start. So by the time you get here, you only have like one big section left before you do the border, and that progresses a bit slower, but then you're also really close to being done, so you have extra motivation. And then the last part, of course, is the thing that takes the longest, and that is this border, because you knit back and forth for every stitch, and you have like almost 300 stitches, so that takes quite a while. I think you end up with 48 of these, I don't know what you would call it, but 48 of each of these, so there is a fair bit of work to do that last part. But I found that the more I've done this pattern, actually, the less that border annoys me. The first time I did this blanket, I got so bored, I was so over it. I had to put it down multiple times just to find motivation to get through that last border. But I don't know if I'm quicker the more I knit this, if I found a way to make it better what it is, but the more times I do this border, the less annoying I find it, the less repetitive I find it, even though I've done it more now, so it's actually more repetitive. I don't know why, but I've just really found peace with doing this border. It does not annoy me anymore, but right now this does not look that great. It really bunches up here in the middle where there are more increases, and also the twisted rib is definitely one of the things that throws the shape off the most. So there's twisted rib here and here. So this is a blanket that needs a block to look good. I also have to weave in a couple of ends because I did this in superwash yarn. I did this in Drops Baby Merino in the color Blush. I always find it a bit hard to choose between superwash and non-superwash, because superwash is really easy. You can throw it in the washing machine and you don't have to worry about it felting. But then there's also the issue of microplastics, and I am more worried about microplastic with tiny babies than I am with kids, because I am just worried it will affect them more. But then again, with a blanket, you are not really wearing it on your skin necessarily, and blankets also, in my experience, they get messy. There's always going to be some sort of spit up or something on a blanket, so to get use out of it, you kind of need to be able to wash it in an easy way. So I prefer to do my blankets in superwash, and also like those cuddle blankets as well. Everything I'm afraid will be spit up on a lot, I like to do in superwash, because I hope that microplastic isn't that big of an issue, and I think new parents find felting to be more of an issue, and then they just won't wear it, at least. So this is in superwash, so I couldn't split splice any of the ends, so I have to weave them all in. I tried to find places where they would be easier to weave in, because I find it so stressful to weave in ends when it comes to lace, because I don't want to like get in the way of all of these holes. So I tried to be like strategic about it when I changed skeins. So hopefully that will work out for me. And then I have to sew the border shut here and then wash and block. So hopefully by the next time we speak, by the next podcast, I will have blocked this, and I'll be back with a reveal on how it changes, because it does change a lot, and especially since this is superwash, I am expecting it to grow quite a bit. Now it isn't really a big blanket. This would barely fit a newborn and not much more, but it is supposed to stretch out a lot, so it can actually last for quite some time. I think the end measurements for this blanket, it does get better just from me stretching it a bit. I think the end measurements for this blanket is that the diameter is a bit over 100 centimeters, 110 centimeters maybe. But yeah, that is the blanket so far. Absolute favorite blanket. Recommend this to everyone. I'm not a big fan of those blankets where you knit them back and forth, and I really found that I enjoy knitting in the round. Unfortunately, I love this so much that I haven't really tried any other blankets that are knit in the round, but I hope to be able to at least try some more. I know Augustins has more blankets in the round. I've just been worried to try others because I already know I love this so much, but my goal this year is to try at least one more blanket in the round. Especially that I know she has one of those round blankets which has a cable, I think, on the border edge, and that's one I really want to make. I'll put in a picture here so you can see it. I think that's stunning, so that's definitely on my wish list of patterns I want to make. But this is the mini Augustins, and this is part of my baby shower gift that I'm knitting for my friend, and I have felt for quite some time now that I have all of the time in the world. I don't really need to stress. I think I started a bit last year, and I did quite a bit in January, and then of course in February I was focused on other things, and now in March I have done a bit here and there, but I haven't really felt stressed about it. But now I looked at my plans today, and I think I have like 7 projects left I want to do and only 2 weeks left to do them. So now I'm starting to feel a bit stressed, but at least I have this blanket finished, and this is one of the main pieces. So if I don't get everything done, I will at least have this and a couple other pieces I've already finished. So that's the first thing I finished this week. And then the second thing I finished this week is my all-time favorite pattern, the Stormy Weather hat. I don't know if I've gone a full week without knitting on one of these since I got the pattern. I probably have, but it feels like every single week I have one of these hats on my needles or just cast off or something. I love them so much. I think in December I set out to make stormy weather hats for all of our baby friends, toddler friends. I knit for my cousins, I knit for my son's friends, I knit for everyone, and I think I got through everyone then, but I'm getting another cousin which I've knit one hat for I think last week, and my son's getting more friends, so I am still on a journey of really spreading this pattern. I want every child, toddler, baby to have a stormy weather hat. I think they are amazing. This pattern is by Strikkesoffe, by the way, and this week it was time for another friend to get one of these, so I have made this one. This is in Drops Daisy in the color moss green, because I have quite a lot of leftovers ever since I made my zipper sweater light, because I got yarn for my zipper sweater light when Drops Daisy had just released, even though it took me more than a year to actually knit it. And I was really excited about Drops Daisy releasing, so I think I got a kilo, and then I only used like 450 grams. So I have more than 500 grams left, or had before I did this. This took 70 grams, so I have a bit less than 500 now. But I think Drops Daisy is really lovely for this hat. Drops Daisy together with alpaca wool from Sandnes Garn is definitely my top 2 yarn combos for making this hat. I have tried quite a few different yarn combos now, and out of everyone, these 2 are the best. I've also tried the double Sunday from Sandnes Garn, and that isn't as good and comfy, and like it doesn't make the same like tight material as Daisy and alpaca wool does. So definitely, if you're going to make this and not make that many versions, I would suggest one of those 2 yarn combos. And I'm really happy with how this turned out. This is in the biggest size, that's 5 to 6 years. I haven't tried it out yet, but I am pretty sure that she has come out with a pattern for adults. I don't know if she's come out with a pattern for bigger kids, but I think she has a similar pattern for adults that I just haven't tried yet. But I think this is out in almost all sizes now, in like different versions. I don't know if all of them has these earmuffs or if it's just like this border and the hat, but yeah, that's the stormy weather hat. my favorite part is this double knit border here, and also these ear cuffs are double, so this kind of stops the wind because it's double, it's extra warm, and then this is more breathable because it's only one layer, and the fit, everything is just really nice. And honestly, if you want one with ear clefts yourself, I think you could just size up to 4.5 millimeter needles, and maybe use a bit of a thicker yarn, and you could easily use the biggest size to make a hat for yourself as well. But that's my second and last finished object of this week, and it's just so soft to touch. I haven't washed this yet, don't know if I will, because it is honestly quite even now, and I don't know if hats really need to be washed before giving away. So this is ready, and I'm just touching it now, and it's really comfortable. I want to knit more using Daisy because it is a really great yarn, and I think I finally figured out how to actually treat it to make sure it doesn't like felt or peel way too much. But yeah, that's the second thing I finished this week, and then we can head into my active projects. As I said, I haven't been able to knit that much this week. I have knit every chance I've gotten, but we've been loads outside. We actually went, what would you say, camping. We slept outside in a tent for the first time this year. It was my first time this year and my son's first time ever. We did not go far, it was just outside in our garden, but it was really fun to be able to do that for the first time. But of course, experiences like that doesn't give me loads of knitting time, but it was so worth it, and we had so much fun. But to my active project, I think we'll start with the newest one, and this is again some more Drops Daisy, because as I said, I'm really trying to work more with it. And this is really hard to show and for it to look like anything, because I started on this super recently, like just earlier today, and I've spent maybe like 10 minutes working on it so far. But this is another part of that baby shower gift, and because I just need to work on it whenever I can now. And this is the last like smaller, easier project I have left. This is the Sunday Balaclava by Petiteknit. I just need to remember if I was remembering that right, but this is the Sunday Balaclava, and I'm knitting in the size 6 months to 1 year. So it's a pattern that reaches quite a big age range, and on one hand that's really nice because then it fits for longer, but I'm also worried that that means that it just fits worse for longer, because it's not really specific. So I'm afraid that like the face hole will be too big until it's too small, and then that the proportions might not work out perfectly. I have had some issues with Petiteknit balaclavas before where I feel like they don't really cover enough. I want just like this part of the face to be out, and with other Petiteknit balaclavas, I think I've only tried the Monday balaclava one, so I haven't tried that many. I've also tried the November one, and I feel like they stop like really far up, almost like at before the hairline. And that's not great. I'm not using a balaclava in weather where I don't want it to be like this. But I haven't tried the Sunday balaclava before. It looks more promising. I've also, since making the last balaclavas by Petiteknit, I've gotten a bit better at modifying it to be the way I want. So hopefully I'll be able to make the face hole small enough to actually be like a functioning balaclava. But this is the little start. This is what's going to be up here. Yeah, like that. And then you do like a flap here, and then I'm pretty sure you pick up stitches and start working down here. So we'll see how that goes. I think it's going to be a quite quick project, because hats usually are. It might take me a bit longer if I need to like stop and figure out how to maybe modify it to make the face hole smaller, but I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that it won't be an issue. And I also think that a lot can be saved by just casting off tightly to make it like be a bit tighter at the end. But that's the newest project that I've cast on, and I'm using Drops Daisy in the color Almond or Marzipan. I'm a bit unsure, but this is leftover Drops Daisy from when I knit my twin cousins their christening outfit. I got yarn from my aunt, their mother, to do that, and I don't know how much I have left, but I have quite a bit of yarn left still from that, so I should at least be able to make this. I am also really trying to stash bust this season, so whatever projects I can make with stash yarn, especially the stash yarn that's leftover yarn that I'm struggling to figure out what to do with, if I can use that yarn, I'm going to. I'm really excited to try to like eliminate as much yarn as possible, and if I'm able to eliminate one yarn type or one color 100%, that makes me really happy and really excited. So that's what this is, and I really haven't done much, but hopefully by the next time we speak this will be done, and some other projects as well. If not, I'm not going to be able to finish everything I want to in the next 2 weeks. But that's my newest active project, and then I have 2 more that I have actually worked on. I've still not picked up my old projects from January and before New Year's. I really should do that, but I have not had the motivation this week, so I haven't. But as I said, every week, hopefully next week, I'm starting to feel a little bit more motivation to knit on the Alfred sweater that I am knitting for my son, because that's in thin yarn, and as it's getting warmer now, I think that's going to be a really nice sweater to use. So hopefully I will get enough motivation to pick that up and actually finish that one at least. But back to the projects I've actually knit on this week, and I think we'll start with this one. I think this is the oldest out of the 2, and this is my... Oops, there's just so much yarn everywhere. This is my sweater number 14 by Myfavouritethings.knitwear. I have not knit a lot on this week. It's not been a priority. I've spent almost all of my time working on the Celeste because I'm just super excited about the Celeste, but I have done a little bit on it. So here you can see it. This sweater, I'm working surprisingly slow on this sweater. I had thought I would race through this at a very different rate than I'm currently doing, but I think the fact that I've been so unsure about the marling, and still kind of am, has really slowed me down, because I'm just looking at it and going like, don't know what I think about this. But what I did do this week was that I went and did the neckline, and I have to say, I think it totally changed my mind about this, because as I said, I've been really unsure about the marling. I haven't really liked it. I've been like, I think it's a bit too out there, too in your face. But now that I have the neckline on, I think it's way better. I quite enjoy it now. I don't know if getting a neckline in kind of muted the difference, or if it just kind of switched something in my brain, but I really enjoy it now. I think it's going to be great. It's definitely still going to not be like a dressy sweater. It's going to be a lounge around at home sweater, but that was the point of this anyways. I wanted a sweater just as comfortable as the sweater number 14 v-neck that I currently have, but with my v-neck sometimes I feel like that's a bit too chilly, because the v-neck of the sweater number 14 is so deep. It's like if I wear it the way it's intended to, instead of like dragging it backwards, the V-neck hits me like here or something, and I feel like my whole chest is on display, and when it's a bit chilly or windy, that's really cold. So that's where this comes into play, because this has a high neck, like quite high neck, a crew neck, so it, instead of exposing my whole chest, keeps it warm, keeps it hidden, and I think this is going to be great. I am really excited. It's probably not the most inspiring color for spring, but I did buy this early in January, so I wasn't really thinking about spring then. And I think the fact that this is in like grey and black hues makes this very wearable, because I've changed my mind about it being too out there now. I think that this being like, it could go with any color because it is like black and grey and it doesn't really clash with anything. I don't think I would wear this with anything else that was like very out there. That might be a bit too much. But yeah, I'm really excited, and hopefully now that I'm actually excited about this project instead of really nervous about my color choices, that will speed up my needles. I also have not been able to try it on with the neckline. I've just looked at it like this, so I really want to do that as well, but I also don't want to put my stitches on try-on tubing because it takes me so long to get them back on the needle after doing that, because I am the queen of procrastinating. So I think at this point I'm just going to finish the body before trying it on, because it is knit on 6mm needle, so if I actually sit down and just knit, it should be, I should finish the body quite quickly. I have already done almost 10 centimeters on the body, and there's not that many to go before I start at least doing the ribbing, and once I've done one side of the ribbing I can try it on, because then I will have cast off half of the stitches. So yeah, that is my sweater number 14 so far, and this week I didn't do a lot because I just did this little part, but it was a very impactful little bit of work, so I'm really excited for this next week now that I finally feel a bit better about it. And then my last active project and my favorite, my main one this week is the Celeste sweater, and I have no idea where we left off. I really struggle to remember that, but I think last week that I had just been able to separate for sleeves, and I think I'd finished that skein on the body, but I'm not quite sure. But I think this week that I did one more skein on the body just to get a bit more length under the armhole, because I find it much easier to knit sleeves if there is like a substantial amount of centimeters under here, so it isn't too flimsy to work on. So finished one more skein on the body, also so I could see the fit of the body a bit better, because as I said last week I did make quite a fair bit of modifications when it came to how I chose to separate for sleeves and the stitches I cast on under the arm and everything. So I wanted to get more centimeters in here so I could see how that affected the fit of the body, because I have 8 stitches less on the body than I'm supposed to. And then I also started working and finished working on one sleeve, because I was also really eager to see how my changes affected the fit of the sleeve, because the sleeve ended up having, the sleeve ended up having 8 more stitches than I was supposed to have. And also with the decreases, again, I made a modification that I did not mean to make, I just wasn't paying attention. And I was supposed to decrease, I think, every 23rd row or something, and I forgot to do that, so instead I did every 26 rows, and I was supposed to decrease 3 times, and I decreased 1, 2, let me see if I can find it, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. But I had also started out with 8 more stitches, so in the end for the ribbing here I still have 6 more stitches. And I did try this on yesterday. I think before I had finished the sleeve completely, I needed to see what kind of length I was going to knit the sleeve to before starting the ribbing. And at least before I did the ribbing, I was really happy with the fit of the sleeves. They're not super oversized. I'm not drowning in them by any means, but they are oversized. They're not like stuck to my sleeve, stuck to my arm like this is at all. It is giving me more room than this is, and I know with Petiteknit patterns that they kind of all end up like this for me because I do have quite large arms. Even the men's sweater is like tight fitting on my arm. So I'm really happy I chose to do this modification and put in a lot more room in here. I was also considering if I should not do the decreases at all, but since I did 26 rows in between each decrease and started out with 8 stitches more, I chose to do them just because I don't like when the cuff is like huge, because when the cuff is too huge it like gets in your way and you can't really like pull it up. So I decided on doing decreases, but there isn't that many even if you decide to do them. And now I just have to do one more sleeve and finish the body. I'm also really excited to try it on now that I finally have the cuff, but I'm probably going to wait until I have both sleeves finished and done a little bit more on the body. But so far I'm really happy. I did also get to see a little bit how the body fit yesterday, and that too, it's not like massively oversized. I'm not drowning in it, but I think because I did those modifications and the sleeve has more stitches and the body less, that they actually match up really well when it comes to how oversized they are. So the body isn't super oversized while the sleeves are tight, or the sleeves aren't super oversized while the body is tight. They kind of match each other in the middle now, which I'm really happy about. For me, it's not necessarily about it having tons of positive ease or no positive ease. I just want every part of it to match up. I want it to be proportionate. I want it to fit my body the same way throughout the whole sweater. I don't want it to be tight and loose and tight and loose. Don't enjoy that. But so far with this one, it seems like I'm going to get exactly what I want, which I'm super excited about. And yeah, this part that I have steam blocked and then also touched a lot is also really soft. This is only my 3rd time knitting with Peer Gynt, and the first time, and honestly a bit the second time as well, I thought it was really rough, but I know it improves in washing. But I also have noticed that my darker Peer Gynt garment is a lot rougher than my lighter, brighter one. And this is in dark color, so I have been a bit worried about this being stiff, but this hasn't been as stiff as that first one I made at all, and the part that has been steam blocked is quite soft to the touch, so I am just super excited about this. Can't wait to finally wear it soon. I don't know when this will be done because I'll have to prioritize quite a few baby knits going forward, but if not next week, then maybe the week after that, I hope, because I am growing impatient and I really want to wear this. This has been on my needles for close to a month now, and it was my wedding custom. It will always be really special to me because of that, and just because of all of the memories I've been able to bake into this now. I brought this with me when we went camping for the first time, so it's my wedding cast on. It was with me when my son went camping for the first time, in a tent. I don't know if it's called camping or tenting then, but this has so many firsts and so many memories in it, and I'm just I love this sweater very much. It's a really special sweater to me, so I am really excited to finally be able to wear it. But those are my projects, and then I have quite a few plans that I also wanted to talk about just briefly, and I don't know where to start. I'll probably start with the zipper sweaters. I have yarn for zipper sweaters, one for my son and one for me. As I said earlier, I have gotten yarn for another zipper sweater for me in the same yarn that I've already made my husband and son zipper sweaters in, because I love their zipper sweaters so much. And I got for me in this dark color. My issue now is that I got this dark color and everything, and I've been really planning this project to be a fall project, maybe winter project, because this is like a thick, more winter fall sweater. So I really imagine that would be the time of year when I knit this. But I am just so in love with this sweater now that I've stolen it. When I got this yarn, I was really struggling to choose between Nepal, which is the same as this is, and then also maybe trying Alaska just to see how that would work. And now I'm so happy I went with Nepal, because this is amazingly comfortable and it's so hard to hold off on not just casting this off now. But also I have other plans that I really want to knit this fall, so I'm really struggling. I want to do this right away, and the color is also, I don't know if you can see, but it is a variegated deep blue with kind of like greens in it, and it is so pretty. My fingers are itching to cast it on. And then I also have yarn for another one for my son, because he has grown out of his thicker one. And this is something I'm going to cast on. Maybe I'm going to cast this on to try to like scratch the itch I have to make another zipper sweater, because he needs it. He's out for longer extended periods of time, and he loves to not wear jackets. We're struggling to get him to put on a jacket, so having thicker sweaters for him to use is gold, and we don't have that right now, so I really want to make this. It's also in a mixed blue color, but this is a lot lighter. It's like a mix of like blue, light blue, kind of like white and grey. And I'm also super excited about this color, and it should be quicker to do in a smaller size. I haven't quite decided on size yet. I have to look at how much yarn I actually got, but that's another plan, and that's going to happen really soon. Excited about that as well. And then a plan for myself that's actually going to happen is this. I did mention this plan in my spring knitting plans as well, but I wanted to mention it here as well, because I'm going to be hosting a knit along starting at the end of March. It's not a strict knit along at all. Just let me know if you want to join or not. You don't have to let me know if you don't want to join. Just let me know if you want to join the knit along. I'll add you to the group chat. Everyone can start when they have the time, when they have free needles. I'm going to start end of March, maybe early April, but hopefully end of March. And then it will just be a knit along until everyone's finished with their sweater, jacket. And what we're going to do is to do the Dawn to Dusk jacket. I've been really excited about this. If you've been following me for some time, I think you've heard me talk about the Dawn to Dusk jacket before, because it's been a dream knit of mine for so long. I'm finally doing it. I finally have the yarn. I finally have the knit along to motivate me. I'm knitting in Lima and Kid Silk. This is in Sea Green and this is in North Sea. Together I think they will be a really cool color. I have to do a swatch just to see how this color is. Actually, just to give me a bit more motivation, because the pattern does scare me a little bit. But I wanted to let you know about the knit along in case you have also been eyeing the Dawn to Dusk jacket and want to join. as I said, it's not a strict group chat at all. You can just join, and hopefully we can all motivate each other to get through the pattern, to get to our jackets. But I have the yarn, and hopefully I'll also have the time and free needles to cast this on at the end of March. And then my last plan, which I am maybe the most excited about, is that my mom has all of this yarn, and this is Drops Wish, which is a yarn I haven't knit that much with because it's a really thick yarn, and my fingers are not great with thicker yarn, and I really enjoy smaller needles and the knits I can make with smaller needles. I haven't used this yarn that much, but it is one of my mother's favorite yarns because she is a big fan of chunkier needles, but she has a lot of this color. I think it's light grey, is really light. It's almost beige, almost white, but it is grey, and she does not know what to do with it. She has, I think, at least enough to make an adult sweater, if not more than enough, and she wants to make an adult sweater, but she doesn't quite know what to do. She has been thinking about cardigan or sweater. She maybe wants some structure, but then we've also been looking at a version of the Louisiana sweater where you make that into a jacket with a zipper, and pair this with alpaca silk from Drops to make that, and that's also cool. But she's gifted me this yarn so I can knit something for her. We don't know what yet. She would love suggestions if you have any for what would work with Wish yarn. I have tried to make her some suggestions. We've looked at the Siri cardigan, which she really liked, but she did not like the sweater. And yeah, she also likes, I think, Dahlia, and a few other things like that. But I think she's imagining cables. So if she finds a cable cardigan or sweater she really likes, I think she would want that. If not, we're going to do the Louisiana sweater, but the jacket modification, because I also really like that, and then I can steal it. But yeah, I hope if you have any good suggestions when it comes to structured cardigan or sweater with cables that would work with this yarn. So it can't be like sweater number 20, because that wouldn't really work with this yarn, I think. Please let us know if you have any sweaters that would work with that, but that's another plan. I am not going to add this yarn into my yarn stash because I'm kind of just borrowing it to help my mother out, and I'm also trying to make my yarn stash smaller, so I'm not going to make my yarn stash bigger just because I'm helping my mom with stash busting her stash as well. But I have loads of this Wish. I am excited to knit with it because it is soft and something else than I'm used to doing, and it will probably be quick on big needles. I just have to be careful so I don't ruin my hands, because I have not been careful enough with my hands this week as well. I have felt some pain in my arm here because my arm is not 100% still after I did so much before the wedding, so I really have to be careful. So this is going to be something I do quite soon. It's definitely a spring knit. I think this yarn is great for spring because it's light and airy. It's a blow yarn, and it's a mix of baby alpaca, Pima cotton and merino wool. It's 50% alpaca, 33% cotton and 17% wool. So to me that seems like a great spring yarn, and yeah, I'm excited to work with it. It's also a great color for spring, I think, quite a light one. But I would love to hear if you have any suggestions for what we can do with this. And then lastly, what I need to do is that I really need to get back to crocheting and crocheting flowers. I would love if I was able to crochet myself like a spring bouquet to have in the house. And then I also have, of course, planned to gift a bouquet with the baby shower gift I'm doing. So far I've only crocheted one flower and not put it together, so I have quite a ways to go, and crocheted flowers take a surprising amount of time, so I just have to get to everything I am supposed to do. But that is everything I have today, everything I've knit, everything I've been thinking about when it comes to what I want to cast on. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like and a comment. That means the absolute world to me. And if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. Bye!